Britain has a new government this morning after voters threw out the ruling Conservatives in a historic shift to the left. Labour Party leader Keir Starmer required the symbolic approval of King Charles to become the new Prime Minister after Rishi Sunak handed in his resignation. Sunak's defeat is nothing less than a total repudiation by the British public.
The UK has a new Prime Minister. Now the question is, will he continue Britain's plans to toughen immigration to the United Kingdom? The UK's new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, might look to tighten immigration policies to maintain ECHR membership. The party aims to reduce migration from the insane 350,000 annually to a couple of 100,000. The policies will include things like family route reviews, immigration fees, and a migration advisory committee.
There's been mood for change in Britain. Now, after 14 years in the political wilderness, Labour is back, with Sir Keir Starmer about to move into 10 Downing Street.
We have one job, which is to make this a summer of change.
Under Starmer's leadership, the UK might tighten migration policies and put more border checks in place. They even plan on raising eligibility for foreigners looking to move into the country.
I think we'll expect a fairly pragmatic approach to most policies.
Some believe a fairly realistic approach to most legislation and concerns will be addressed now. But some of Starmer's policies have been met with criticism, even before he was elected.
You're sitting there with tens of thousands of people. But just let me finish.
Illegal migrants come to our country, what will you do with them?
Processed
it's
their
a very
claims.
simple question.
Well,
I can tell people what I will do with them. I will put them on planes to Rwanda because they shouldn't be able to stay.
Years.
What will you do with illegal migrants who come to our country? What will you do with them? It's a simple question.
His plan is
what will you do with them?
They need to be processed at the moment.
Processed?
They're not.
Starmer vowed to keep the UK's European Convention on Human Rights membership, calling Sunak the most liberal Prime Minister the country has ever seen on immigration. His party also pledged to reduce migration from 350,000 annually to a couple of 100,000. However, they plan to achieve this without any additional measures. The annual impact, as expected by the party, is a reduction in public borrowing by £7.4 billion by 2028.
Their families have come to the UK on foreign student visas since January 2021. Not everyone goes home when their visa expires, including Danabal from India.
Was it always your intention that you wouldn't actually be a student? It was just a way of getting a visa?
This is the only reason for that. I just want to save my life.
But you didn't ever plan to be a student?
No.
Determined to get to the UK and stay, Danabal says his politics got him into trouble with the Indian police, so he paid an agency there £7,000 to arrange a university place in Britain. He ended up on a course in the north of England, but says he only stayed a month.
I just thought that, okay, this is the only way I can get through, but I didn't know about other options, so that's why I just used this.
We've met Danabal in Sheffield, but he moves around the country, his life undocumented.
A sizable portion of these immigrants are international students, both as students and graduates. They help local British businesses as short-term labour, signifying the importance of migration to the country. But most of them stay even after their visas expire, looking for a better life in the United Kingdom by exploiting the system.
The intention is to stop groups or individuals from having a platform to spread incendiary views, but concerns have been raised that any definition could be seen as unfair and undemocratic. With more details on what was said, here's our political correspondent Peter Soll.
This has become a regular sight at weekends in our cities. Thousands of people taking to the streets in protest at Israel's actions in Gaza. The current conflict in the Middle East.
The United Kingdom has also experienced a surplus of extremism, and it's mostly linked to immigrants. So the Home Office needs to monitor immigration into the country properly. And with Keir's plans, it is a possibility.
I think all to see is the mood of the nation, of the country, what is expected of us, and the mandate that we have to deliver change. It's a mandate not just to govern, although it is certainly that, but it's a mandate that has put trust in us to change the country and to deliver. And it's a mandate to do politics differently. And that change started yesterday as well. I have, as you'll have seen, appointed a cabinet. That was done yesterday.
Starmer made it abundantly clear that the country will see a new age of politics that's different from the 14 years that Conservatives have led. The Labour Party plans to impose visa restrictions without formally altering the visa routes. They plan to achieve this by linking immigration and skills policy more closely. The plans also include investigating migrants and workers potentially exploiting the social care sector. The Labour Party might also introduce measures to tackle exploitation in other sectors, where seasonal workers are employed.
We followed that with the first Cabinet meeting of the Labour government of 2024. At that Cabinet meeting, I had the opportunity to set out to my Cabinet precisely what I expect of them in terms of standards, delivery, and the trust that the country has put in them.
The Labour Party aims to fire up skills training within the country, rather than looking for talent overseas. One commitment is to forbid recruiting foreign workers by companies and organisations that violate employment laws. Eliminating the workplace exploitation of foreign labourers to drive down wages is another.
What would you get those numbers down to through the approach
we want to get the numbers right down. We want to, with a plan to get people back into work.
The Prime Minister aggressive in his attacks.
You want to be in charge, but you've got nothing to say to people about what you would do about it. This election is about the future.
Conservatives have expressed disapproval of Labour's alleged rebranding of government-implemented measures.
There aren't too many jobs where you get 12 weeks holiday, a pension contribution of 23.6%, and from what I can tell as well, an average salary of around 42 grand.
Perfectly bang on the money. This is a well-paid profession that comes with all those benefits, the pension, the saving on childcare costs in the holiday period when you can work from home if you need to do work at all. I think this is a really great profession to work in. It's just a shame that the Not Education Union decided to bring the education sector into disrepute, undermine the great work of many teachers. And actually, teachers are selfless. It's union baron bosses that are selfish, and we're seeing that on a grand scale today.
And Jonathan Gullis, a candidate for the Conservative Party, was vocal about it, saying nobody buys Sir Keir's plans. In addition to raising the wage threshold for visas, the government previously promised to eliminate cut-price shortage labour from overseas by eliminating visa salary requirement discounts for individuals working in understaffed industries. Employers who wish to be included in shortage occupations must demonstrate that they also provide training for domestic workers.
And rose quickly within the party. He served as an opposition spokesman on immigration and also Brexit.
For the Labour Party, this is a very difficult bill.
A year after a crushing election loss for Labour under Jeremy Corbyn, Sir Keir set out to drag the Labour Party back to the centre when he became leader.
It is the honour and the privilege of my life to be elected as leader of the Labour Party.
A lifelong Arsenal fan, Sir Keir still plays football with his friends and attends games with his 2 children.
The party supports increasing the minimum income requirement for the partner route, even though Labour hasn't announced any changes to the immigration fees. Recent trends of increased fees might continue under their leadership.